Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, we're going to be learning Johann Sebastian Bach's Bourrée. So as you guys heard, we have this song arranged as a duet alongside the U-bass. So we're going to be releasing the U-bass lesson probably in a couple weeks or so, but if you're watching this video in the future, then it's already out and you can click that link. I'll also put the link to the U-bass lesson in the description box below. But for now, let's talk about the ukulele part. So first off, this arrangement is for low G, and it's actually the capstone performance piece for our course on learning to read standard notation. So if you've ever wanted to learn to read standard notation, I'd encourage you to check out our complete course on it. And I would say one of the best things about learning to read is that it really helps you gain a thorough understanding of rhythm and timing. That is the biggest thing lacking from only reading tablature. It doesn't tell you how to play the notes. It tells you what notes to play, but it does not tell you for what length to play them. So what I love about this piece is that it was written using counterpoint. So in a nutshell, this means that there are two melodies that move independently of each other. So in this case, one melody is played by the ukulele, the other by the U-bass. All right, so let's talk about this lesson. So I've got this lesson split into two parts. This is the part one lesson, and we're gonna learn 2/3 of the song. So I've got the song split into three melodies, melody A, B, and C. So we're going to cover A and B in this lesson. But if you'd like to learn the last melody, we're going to be teaching that in the part two lesson right here. So you can click that link or go to the site and do a search for Bourrée. Now on that page, you'll also be able to find the tabs that you can print off and follow along with as a PDF format and access the on-screen tab viewer. Now this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, watch the tab scroll across in real time. You can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed. Just a great asset in learning this song that much easier. And last but not least, there is a backing track that you can download. So you can download the U-bass part and you can rock out the duet at home. So the backing track will be available in 3 different speeds. So you can download 100%, 75%, and 50% speed. So just a great way to have fun with this and to practice playing alongside another instrument. So let's go ahead and jump into this lesson. So the first thing I want to point out is that we are going to be counting out the rhythms as we go along. So if you're new to understanding rhythmic notation, then check out this lesson. But again, if you really want to dive deep into learning and understanding rhythm and timing, I'd encourage you to check out that reading course that I linked earlier. Now the next thing I want to point out is our right hand picking technique. We're going to use piccato. So it's a 2-finger approach where you alternate picking between middle index, middle index. So just if you were to take the A string, it's just alternate picking. So if you're new to that technique, then check out our lesson La Gitanita. I'm going to put a link in the description box below. It's spelled L-A, second word, G-I-T-A-N-I-T-A, and it has a very thorough introduction to the mechanics behind this technique. And last but not least, I can't remember if I said it in the beginning of this video. I think I did, but this arrangement is for low G ukulele. So do make sure that you have a low G. If you play it on a high G, it's going to sound really off when you get to the 4th string. So this is definitely one that you need a low G ukulele for. All right, so let's jump into learning it. So here's the big thing with this tune. It has a repetitive rhythmic theme that is used in the vast majority of bars throughout this tune. Here's the repetitive theme. It's 1, 2, and 3, 4, end. So if we were to play that on the A string, you would have 1, 2, and 3, 4, end. So let's see if we can clap that together. I'm going to go 3, 4, we'll start on 1. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, end. So you see that it's a quarter followed by 2/8, followed by a quarter, followed by 2/8. You're going to see that rhythm throughout this entire piece. So for example, the melody A, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd bar is that rhythm. The 5th, 6th, and 7th bar is that rhythm. So the majority of melody A is that rhythm. So make sure you understand and get that rhythm down. It's going to make learning this piece that much easier. The next thing I want to point out is with that rhythm, we want to accent 1 and 3. So let me play a little bit of this tune, and you can hear how I'm going to accent, I'm going to pluck harder on 1 and 3. It's going to make it sound really interesting, because if we pluck at the same volume throughout this entire tune, then we're going to start sounding like this guy. We don't want to sound like him. He's very monotone and boring. So check out how I accent. I'll do a little head nod on 1 and 3. You can hear how it makes the piece come alive just by putting one little dynamic change, by accenting beat 1 and 3. So you can hear da 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 da. And you can hear I really like to accent 3 even stronger than 1, because I just think it sounds really cool. But you can accent 1 and 3, maybe 3 a little bit stronger, but take it and make it your own. You know, music is always up to the performer. So you interpret the music and make it your own, but you definitely want to accent 1 and 3, maybe equal volume, or 1 and 3 with 3 being a louder accent. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. We have a pickup bar that's only 2 notes. So it starts on beat 4, it's 4 and. So it's the A string open to the 2nd fret. You can see I'm using my index fingers. So with our left hand, we're going to be switching back and forth between playing out of position 1 and position 2. So position 1 just means that we're assigning our fingers to the 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret. So you can see that across all 4 strings, each finger gets its own fret. So we're in position 1, so frets 1, 2, 3, 4. If we shift up 1, we're in position 2. Same concept applies, each finger gets its own fret. This time it's frets 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's again across all 4 strings. So you want to keep that in mind as you're playing through. So if I was to play melody A, you can see how I start in position 2 and shift to position 1. Pretty cool stuff, right? So I'll be highlighting that as we get to it in the lesson. So let's go ahead and kick back to that pickup measure. So we're starting in position 2. So it's open A to the 2nd fret of string 1. Okay, and then this will be where our melody A starts, the 1st bar. But before we do that, let's try the pickup together. Remember, we start on beat 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Pretty easy stuff, right? Here's the 1st bar of melody A. Sounds like this. And it's got that repetitive rhythmic theme. So we have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Keep in mind you're picking out of position 2. So for this one, we're going to start on the 3rd fret of string 1, and then we're going to the 2nd fret to the open A, and then to the 4th fret of string 2, and then back to the open A, and back to the 2nd fret. Okay, so if I call out the frets, we're pretty much all on string 1, but we have 3, 2, 0, 4, 0, 2. We want to keep that rhythm in mind. That's important here. So we have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... Okay, so let's see if we can try that one together. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... Awesome, and if we backtrack, let's add that pickup. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... Awesome, here's bar number 2. So you can see that you start in position 2, shift to position 1. Okay, so this one starts on the open E, then we're going to the 2nd fret, to the 4th fret, then to the open A, and then we're going to shift down and we're going to play the 3rd fret of string 2 and the 1st fret. Okay, so this one, this time around, is pretty much all on the E string. So again, you have 0, 2, 4, 0, 3, 1. Okay, same repetitive rhythmic theme. Let's try it together. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... Nice. Let's backtrack. Let's try pickup plus bar 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3. 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and... Nice. Okay, so now for our 3rd bar, we have, again, the same repetitive rhythmic theme, but this time around, we're going to be playing between 3 strings. Sounds like this. Okay, so it's going to start on the open E, go to the 2nd fret of string 3, to the open C, and then to the 4th fret of string 4. We're going to use our pinky finger. And then from here, we're going back to the 3rd fret open, and then the 2nd fret. So you can see again, we're still staying where we left off. We finished bar 2 in position 1. So we're keeping that position throughout this entire 3rd bar. So we have O, 2, O, 4, O, 2. Okay, so let's give that one a shot. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay, now with our 4th bar, we're breaking out of that repetitive rhythmic theme. So it's going to have an 8th note run, followed by a quarter on beat 3, and then 8ths for 4 end. So it sounds like this. So it's going to start with the open E, then to the 2nd fret of string 3, the open C, then to the 4th fret of string 4, and then to the 2nd fret of string 4. That's your quarter note. So you have 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so we hold that for a quarter, and then we're going to end with the open A to the 2nd fret of string A. So together you have 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Now for that last one, we actually want to switch back to position 2. So we want to use that index finger for that last note. So you have O, 2, O, 4, 2, O, 2. Because the next part is basically repeating what we already know. So it goes back into that first couple bars. So let's try this one together. So remember we have 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and switch back to the index. So here we go. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. All right, so let's backtrack. Let's try bars 3 and 4 together. 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. And if I'm going any bit too fast, then you can use the little YouTube settings right here to slow it down to 75-50% speed. But now that we have the first 4 bars down, let's go back and let's try all of those plus the pickup. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Awesome. All right, so now let's take a look at the second half. So bar 5 and 6 is identical to bar 1 and 2. So you're playing the exact same thing where it was 3, 2, O, 4, O, 2, O, 2, 4, O, 3, 1. And when we get to the 7th bar, that's where we're going to start to see a variation. So the 7th bar starts the same, but we're going to linger on the 3rd beat. So check this out. Sounds like this. And I played into the 8th bar. Let me count that rhythm out for you. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So we have a dotted quarter on beat 3. So for this 7th bar, we're starting the same. We have the open E to the 2nd fret of string 3, to the open C, and then to the 4th fret of string 4. So all that was the same, but here's where it changes. We hold this 4th fret for a dotted quarter, so it gets held for a beat and a half. So if we think of the rhythm, we have 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So on the end of 4 comes our last hit of this bar, which is the open C. And we're actually going to hit it again. It's going to be the first hit of our 8th bar. So you just want to get used to going ba-ba, a double hit. So let me play bar 7 into 8, and it'll give you context of that. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, so you just want to get that stuck in your head. Da, ba, da, dum, da, da. Right, so 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, let's try that. Going into the first hit of bar 8. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, so for this 8th bar, you're holding the C, the open C, the second hit of the C for the first 3 beats. So you have 1, 2, 3. Then on beat 4, you're going to play the open E to the C. 4 and... Okay, so let's try that. Just the 8th bar, so we have 1, 2, 3, oh, oh. So second, third, and again, let's try 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Okay, so let's see if we can try 7 and 8 together. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Nice. Now let's backtrack. Let's try 5 through 8, and then we're going to try the entire melody A, so 1 through 8. But first, 5 through 8. And actually, let's start on the beat 4 of bar 4, because it kind of starts that phrase. Da 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 da. Right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and... Awesome. Now let's backtrack. Let's do everything from the pickup. 1, 2, 3. 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and... Nice. So not too bad so far, pretty straightforward and a great one for working on piccato. So let's go ahead and move on to melody B. So melody B again carries through that rhythmic theme. So if I'm looking at it real quick, I see bar 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So it's the same thing basically. The majority of melody B has that same rhythmic theme. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So we want to keep that in mind. The playing is going to get a little bit more challenging as we have a bit more of string skipping, but not too bad. Here's what the first bar sounds like. Okay, so let's break that one down. Okay, so for this one, we're starting out in position 1. So take the ring, put it on the 3rd fret of string 2. The next note is going to be the 2nd fret of string 3, followed by the 1st fret of string 2. So that you have 1, 2, and after that you have the open E. And then we can use the ring finger to play the 3rd fret of string 1 and use the middle to go right above it for the 3rd fret of string 2. So a bit of a finger frenzy, but together you have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and if I call out the fingering, I have 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, 2. So you've got it stacked on top of each other for that one. So let's see if we can try that bar together. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Awesome. Now our next bar sounds like this. Alright, so for this one we're going to start with the open A, and then the open E, and then the 3rd fret of the E string, and then to the 1st fret of the E string. So you have 1, 2, and 3. And then from here, we're playing again open E to the 2nd fret of string 3. So you have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So if I call out the frets, I've got O, O, 3, 1, O, 2. So let's give that one a shot. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Nice. And if we backtrack, let's try bar 1 to 2. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Awesome. So again, you kind of want to think of the phrase beginning on 4 end. So that 8th bar of melody A kind of starts that phrase. Right, you can really hear it. So when you're practicing, I would recommend just starting on the 4 end so you can get that phrase intact, because it's a little weird to start on beat 1 of melody B of the 9th bar. Let's take a look at the 3rd bar. So we're actually going to start on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, and this is what it sounds like. So for this one, we're starting with the index finger still in position 1. Same repetitive rhythmic theme, so we have 1 going up a half step to the 2nd fret, and then the open E, and then the 1st fret of string 2. So you have 1, 2, and 3, and then after that you're playing open E to the 2nd fret of string 3. So it's literally kind of going up and back down. So 1, 2, and 3, O2, so open E, 2nd fret. So let's try that one together. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... Okay, so if we look at the 4th bar, we're going to be hitting the 2nd fret again, and we're going to hold it out for 3 beats. So it's very similar to what we did in the 8th bar, rhythmically speaking. Actually, it's the same rhythmically speaking. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and... So you're hitting on beat 1, holding for 3, and then you have a 8th note on 4 end. So again, it's 2nd fret, and then you're going to finish with 3, 2. So 3rd fret of string 2, 2nd fret of string 3. So if we try just the 8th bar together, guys, we have 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Awesome. So let's see if we can try 3 and 4 together. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Nice. And if we backtrack, let's try 1 through 4. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Awesome. Now let's take a look at the 2nd half. So unlike melody A, the 2nd half does not repeat. We have a new section. So here's what the 5th bar sounds like. Okay, so it's going to start with the open E, and then we're going to the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and then the middle finger on top of it for the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So same thing we saw earlier. Okay, after that you're playing the open A, and then the open E again, and the 3rd fret of the E string. So you have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... Okay, so if I call it the frets, I have O, 3, 3, O, O, 3. So let's try that one together. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... Nice. Now for our next bar, here's where we're going to kind of blur the lines between playing out of position 1 and 2, as we have a bit of a stretch. So go ahead and play the 1st fret of string 2, and I want you to reach with your pinky to the 5th fret of string 1. Now if this stretch is hard for you, then I'm going to put a link to a lesson in the description box below that is on increasing left hand reach. So playing stretch chords or stretch phrases like what we have right here, it's going to make it easier. There are 3 exercises that you can do to increase the reach of the left hand. So check out that lesson if stretch phrases, stretch chords, it's new for you. But let's try it again. So we have 1st fret of string 2. We're going to reach to the 5th fret of string 1. After that, we're going to play the open A. Now that's going to buy you time to get to the next note, which is the 2nd fret of string 1. And here's the kicker. You're going to use the middle finger to play the 2nd fret of string 2 directly above it. So a little bit of a finger frenzy. Check out how that works. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, after that, you've got to lift the index up again, and you're going to play the open A. So really, it's probably the trickiest part in this tune. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... So a lot of finger movement going. So we have 1st fret to the 5th fret, to the open, to the 2nd fret, directly above it, 2nd fret, lift up, open. Okay, let's try that one together slow. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So definitely I think is the hardest bar in this tune. So let's try that one again, and then we'll try 5 and 6 together. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay, now let's try 5 and 6. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay, let's take a look at the 7th bar. Sounds like this. And I played into the first note of the 8th bar, so you're seeing that this 7th bar into the 8th bar is the same rhythm as melody A. So 7 and 8, melody A, same rhythm as 7 and 8, melody B. So we had 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So we have that dotted quarter, right? 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, so we want to keep that rhythm in mind. So you're starting out of position 2, and we have 3 on string 2, walking down to the 2nd fret, to the open E, and then here's where we linger, 3rd fret of string 3, so it would be 3 and 4. And then on the end of 4, you're going to play the E. But you should get used to playing ba-ba, because that 2nd hit of the E is the first hit of the 8th bar. So check it out. You have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay? So let's see if we can try just that 7th bar into the first hit of 8. Here we go. 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay? Now to end the 8th bar, you're playing open E and the 2nd fret of string 1. So that's 4 and. So if we try just the 8th bar, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, let's try that one together. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and. All right, and if we backtrack, let's try 7 to 8. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. And it'd probably be better if you count the 8th notes on 3. Let's try it again. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. All right, so let's backtrack now. Let's try 5 through 8. Let's start on that pickup, so the 4 of bar 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Awesome. You see that last one, I'm back into position 2 to kick into melody C. But let's try now all of melody B. Again, we'll start on 4 end. So the 8th bar of melody A, the beat 4 end, so that little pickup. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Alright guys, so that covers everything for this lesson. So we are 2/3 of the way through the tune. So guys, if you want to learn the last melody, we're going to be covering that in the part 2 lesson at rockclass101.com. So you can click this link right here to check it out. And don't forget that the tabs and that really cool on-screen tab viewer is available as well. So that was the interactive tab player where you can highlight bars, loop sections, slow it down. Really, really cool for learning this song so much easier. So that's just a really great asset. Also guys, don't forget that if you do want to learn how to read standard notation on the ukulele, I'll put the link for the complete course in the description box below. A really, really thorough course, so very, very good, especially for working on rhythm and timing. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in the part 2 one. Take care.